Hello, welcome to another Tuesday night. Excuse me, Tuesday the 20th of September 2022. I'm just going to wait till a few of you jump on, just so we know what's going on there. Welcome everybody. If you want to pop your comments in, let me know that you're here, because I like to know that you're here. It's always good fun. It is Tuesday night, the 20th of September. Oh my God, like, where is September gone already? 2022, 8 p.m. Okay, I've got a couple of you. Stella, hello. Good evening. How are you? I'm okay, thank you. Alyssa, good evening. Stella, I know where you are. Oh, Jean, hello, darling. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I know where most of you are from. Excuse me. I do know where most of you are from. But yeah, let me know where you're tuning in from. That'd be great. So, we've got more jumping on now. Peter Edwards, Breezy, Ashin, Sydney, yes. Lisa, hello. Ashley, Crystalline, Vivian. Hello, my lovelies. Oh, look at you all coming in thick and fast. Now, as you know, these lives, a bit of the housework in the beginning, like and share the page. Excuse me. You can either be watching from Mystic and Mystique Psychic Live TV or Mystique International Psychic Medium. Like or share whichever page you're viewing from. And then for a guaranteed reading tonight, oh my God, Peter, you're from London. Hello. Hi, Jenny. Joe, thank you. Joe, were you at the awards night? It was such a good night. Such a good night. Yeah, for a guaranteed reading tonight, donate $15 into my PayPal account. The details are running along the bottom of the screen. Look, if there's time, I think last week I was on for over 2.5 hours. The week before it was about 3 hours. So, my what you get in the energy exchange is always deep. It's always meaningful. Spirit is always, my great thing with connecting with spirit. And look, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a natural born psychic medium. I've been I shouldn't say dealing with, because I love my spirits, but I've been talking to and connecting with spirits since I was the age of 3. Much to the despise of my family, but anyway, we won't kind of go there. But and I'm 60 now, so it's a long time I've been doing this, and I've won awards for doing it. But putting that aside, I mean, I'm more than grateful. Trust me, I'm so very humbled for what I get awarded for. But my favorite is mediumship. And I don't know whether I said last week I should start calling myself a medical medium, because I pick up a lot with medical these days, probably since the last couple of years more so than before. But yeah, so mediumship is my forte. Of course, I have tarot and oracle cards as well. And you just the intuitive connection that I have with spirit as well. Plus there's a lot of stuff that I get shown from my own spirit guides, and that's something wonderful to have apart from spirits as such, where I have my own spirit guides, and sometimes they're animal spirit guides. So because I work a lot with Native American Native American spirit guides, and some things that I get shown is just it's quite extraordinary. So as I said, Donna, hello. Oh, have you joined my lives before? I don't know if I've seen you, but anyway, if you have and I've missed you on here, I do apologize, because the comments go up so quickly I don't get to see them all. Jean, Central Coast. What made me think that I thought you were elsewhere? Anyway, I thought you weren't. I thought you were different to the Central Coast, but that's okay. Anyway. So let me, our first time, Donna. Well, Donna, what made you watch for the first time? That's interesting. But yeah, Anyway, so as I said, like, I've been around for a very long time, and spirit connection is my baby, so to speak. So yeah, and a lot of really personal stuff comes through, and sometimes if it's too personal, then I have to sort of say to the person, do they give me permission to say it on here, hence that it's a live thing. Otherwise, I would find a way to contact them later and let them know, because sometimes it can be really, really personal. Which is sometimes hard, for the whole world to kind of hear that. Yeah. Peter Edwards, my friend suggested I come on here. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I should thank your friend very, very much. And given that what's gone on in England of late, you've certainly had especially the last 24 hours have been extraordinary over there, and I've sat and watched a majority of it, and yeah, very heart-wrenching. So Peter, if you're affected by any of that that's going on with it, or anyone, in actual fact, anyone that's affected by the Queen's passing, the way they did it with due diligence and accuracy and precision, it was quite extraordinary. Quite extraordinary to be able to, for us with technology, to be able to see it and to watch it live, or all night. But yeah, good evening, Sterling. Thank you. Welcome again. I think that's 2 weeks running for you, isn't it? But that's all good. So, I was starting to do housekeeping, and housekeeping obviously is to like and share the page where you're viewing from. That's what I started to do, and I got caught up in having a bit of a chat, in saying you were there. So Peter, I'm just going to pop you up on the screen, Peter. So you were in amongst the crowd at the churches or Buckingham Palace, but I mean either or, it's extraordinary. The footage has just been amazing. So I'm just going to like and share this page myself. Is there any more popping on? So yeah, guaranteed readings tonight is donating $15 into my PayPal, which is running along the bottom of the screen. And if you're sitting in the background, lurking in the background, please come on and say hello. I know there's a few people there. I feel their energy pulsating through. They'd probably hate me for saying that, but I'm hated for doing a lot of things these days. Anyway, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. So far I've got 2 in line for reading. So, which we'll get to. So Jean, my friend Jean McDonald, and Crystal Wilkinson. Crystal, did I read for you last week? I'm not sure. Pip, you're in the background. You're lurking in the background again. I love it. But you know what? It's funny how people say, how do you know? Because I laugh when I say there's people lurking in the background, and people say to me, how do you know that? Because everyone kind of pops their name up on the screen, and I go, well, A, I'm psychic, but B, you can feel their energy. So, I work a lot with energy. So when you can feel the energy, you just know they're there. And quite frankly, I've got a couple of people that don't really like me right now, and you know what? That is okay. And they're probably lurking in the background too. And you know what? As I said, that's okay. That's okay, because truth always wins out at the end of the day. And when you know the truth and you can view the truth, it's like what I used to do, law, and helping. Well, I still do, actually. I still help people in the legal industry. But when you're appearing in court, for instance, you appear in court. There's 2 sides to every story, and each party get up and say their bit. And when each party say their bit, then it's up to either a jury or a judge to work out who's telling the truth. But each party has to produce evidence. And that's what the law is virtually based on, is hard evidence. And, it can happen in business, it can happen in friendships, it can happen in family, it can happen all around us. But when something's not quite right and you smell a rat, and then you kind of go, But if you only hear one side of the story, you actually will never know the truth. So, always two sides to every story, love. And hello, Elizabeth. Oh, you have enjoyed my life for a very long time. And thank you for your compliment. I love you. But yeah, Peter's just jumped up with a yes. Look, it is. And, I often have people, just going off topic for a minute, I often have people that actually challenge me with my award winning, and they say, well, how can you win awards and we don't? And we're a psychic as well, but you seem to win them. And there's a really fabulous one that is running along the bottom of my screen, like the Australian Small Business Champions Award. It's been running for 23 years, and I am the only psychic medium that's been crowned as a finalist in that whole 23 years. And I've got there 6 years running, and it's and I say that with pride, but I say it like I'm humbled. And this year I actually got invited to the VIP party in the Penthouse at the Star in Sydney, and boy, was that a I'm not a drinker, but we were still there at 3:00 in the morning, and that was all fun. But I don't say that for anyone to pat me on the back, because these are entrepreneurs Australia wide that suss you out. They work out what you're doing, and there is another side of my business, and that other side of my business also got a finalist. And I was very very proud and honoured. So it's a lot of hard work, but I guess the amount of years I've been doing this, a long time. And yes, Peter, you're right. When people's egos grow, because deep down I think we all have a little bit of an ego, but when you allow that to grow and think that you're better than anyone else, or you've got a chip on your shoulder, you may as well you just do and say all the wrong things, and nobody's better than anyone else in this world. Like, seriously, I work with a lot of psychics at a lot of festivals, and I've said this even on Psychic TV many years ago, and I've actually said that we all have special gifts. We all have a talent. We all have, whether it's natural born or whether it's, you went off and learnt something with the tarot cards and things like that. But we all bring something different to the table. And if we're all the same, that's rubbish. If we're all the same, you've got to be drawn to, certain people. But anyway. All right. I think I might do some readings, because there's a few people that are popping donations through, which is fabulous. So I'm just Jean, you were first. So I've got Jean first. Sorry, I have Jean McDonald, you're first. If you want to pop up your question, that would be awesome. And then I have Crystal Wilkinson, and then I have, please, I apologize if I can't pronounce this correctly, Sanella Sepakovic, and then I've just got Rosalind Joy. Okay, so, and then I've got Inspired Life Events. Okay, so I have a few to get through, so let's start the ball rolling. Okay, so have I got a hacker already? Oh, seriously? Brad Wolf, I'm going to give you 5 seconds of my time. You are such a comedian. Love comedians. How about you go on a comedian show? If you can't do your own if you can't get on a comedian show, it means that you're shit. you know. I've done shows, sweetheart. I've been on a few different channels. So if that person is, I'm going to just bear with you. I'm just going to go down and delete their comments. I've blocked him. Peter, thank you for going back there. Wow. Oh my God. Geez, he's really attacking people, isn't he? Like, I do apologize. I haven't had a hacker for a long time. But really? Wow. Okay. Okay. Just incredible. People just can't. As I said, I do apologize. I've just gone through and deleted, excuse me, all his comments. So if you get something from him personally, look, I really very, very, very apologize already. My goodness. Okay. One in every crowd. But you know what? I think what I was talking about before with finding truth and, two sides to every story and getting all the facts, maybe he was the person behind the scenes that was sent in to attack my life. But that's okay. Do you know what? That is perfectly okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. So good luck to that person having their opinion. They won't be on they won't be on my. Okay. Sorry, guys. Somebody's just done the wrong thing on my PayPal. And he was sitting because I just got attacked in the throat. So the psychic attack is out. Rosalind McCall, you've actually sent me a request to pay you. So if you can actually remove that and do it the other way around, that would be really appreciative. So yeah. I don't know. Have you done it that way? Anyway, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what went on there. But anyway, can you just check that for me? That it would be great. Okay, Jean, get hackers and then everything else going on. Seriously. See? 18 minutes in, haven't done a reading because I'm dealing with other thing. Anyway. All right. Alisa, I just saw your comment before I get to. Okay. Oh, where's she gone? I actually have, to be honest with you, I have. And there is quite a few of us out there that are real. I mean, look, my favorite hashtags. Thank you, Donna, for clearing that up because I had two names come through and I wasn't sure what was going on there. Thank you. I've worked with a lot of people who are, great, and I've worked with a lot of people who are fake. Does that rhyme? Whatever. But through COVID, what I found in COVID, and part of the reason why I kind of stopped doing mine for a little while was because through COVID, like, they were seeing the real people do it. And a lot of people and it was worldwide, a lot of people were like getting on with pajamas, cigarettes, drinking alcohol, and just pulling a card and throwing it up to the camera and saying, oh, yes, the card says this, so you must be doing this. And I'm kind of like, and there's hundreds of them. And yeah, I kind of went, you know what, this is just getting ridiculous. But I've worked with Psychic TV now for over coming up for 7.5 years, and we were live on TV, and people sent in their photos or people sent in a question. Now, if you're wrong, they're going to ring the TV station and have a go. So the rule kind of was if the public didn't warm to you, or you're a little bit wrong with your with your answer, you're kind of flushed out very, very quickly. So with being with them for 7.5 years, so like I'm now the second longest. Florence is 10 years and I'm 7.5, so I'm the second longest. So and it's. But even when I do this on social media could ridicule me, but it doesn't, because, I see others do lives, and all due respect to everyone who does them, that's real. But, I've seen others that go, oh, well, you can't ask this, you can't ask this, you can't ask this, you can't ask this. And I go, well, if you're real, you don't care what the questions are, you don't put so many, rules and regulations in place, so to speak, because you just, I don't know. To me, it is what it is. People ask whatever question. If it's a really personal, like a deep and meaning personal one, I often say to people, I'm getting something from a spirit that's really, really, really personal. Do you give me permission to say it on the live? And then, if they give me permission, I will. So that's a bit of how I work. So we're getting right off track of readings. So that's coming. So Jean, you're number 1. Just update on X's health and any news on becoming a nanny. Look, I know it's a serious question, but I giggled for a reason. If it's an X and you're concerned about their health, are they not an X for a reason? Just saying. Like, I have no issue, but yeah, X's and all X's for a reason. And if you're still great mates, look, I think that's spectacular. If you're still great mates, I think that's very, very positive. But I'm going to actually touch on the nanny bit first, because I do feel that, I've actually, spirit shows me like in one of those old-fashioned nurses uniform. I guess that's what I want to, like. No, it's actually not. The old matrons uniforms with the thing. So, I seem to, that spirit shows me some weird and wonderful things. But if I'm seeing that, like, those matrons uniforms is actually like, caring for people. So being a nanny, of course, is, caring for children as such. But I see you being a bit more than just a nanny to the kids. Like, so I kind of see that you organize, because I also see like a book in front of you. So I want to say that you're also organizing stuff, whether that's organizing mum and dad, making sure their diaries are, are in sync, or making sure that the sports, for whatever reason, that the sports have, because there's something else as well as sports. So there's diaries, there's school, there's general nannying, there's sports, but there's something else, because Spirit's showing me 5. So I'm on the lines of there's 5 different, like, major duties that would come under board this nanny. And I don't really know what a nanny does as such. I mean, I know it's looking after children, but it seems to be, to me, because Spirit keeps going like this, like it's a broader sensation than what I'm feeling as to just being a nanny. And I don't say that in disrespect to anyone who's a nanny, because that's just how Spirit, comes through. So I say it as I hear it. Yes, I just feel, and I feel like you'll be a little bit of a, I don't want to use the word now because the Queen's passed, but what I'm being shown, it's like you'll be a bit of a matriarch. So it's kind of like, because you've experienced a lot through your life with, with children, it seems to be that you have extra knowledge and you go the extra mile than what somebody else doesn't do, if that makes sense. So, all in a nutshell, with the nannying part, I think that's an exceptional avenue, to go on. And if you've applied for a couple, I'm being shown the number 3. So if you've applied for a couple, then if you actually have applied for 3, or put your resume, so to speak, or your feelers out for 3, I feel like the middle one is going to be the one that's going to come your way, only because I get a sense that middle one is more productive, more security for yourself. But also too, like, I just feel that the family unit is a whole lot better than what would I say, like another family that kind of breezes in, breezes out, breezes in, breezes out. Do you know what I mean? And I just think that middle one, Spirit's showing me that, you're welcome with open arms, and there's respect, and there's gratitude, and there's, that you fit in quite nicely. So, but I have to say to you that I don't actually see that. We're coming towards the end of September, but I actually don't see that to the end of October, first week of November. And I'm seeing horses, so it's got to be something around Melbourne Cup, because they're throwing me horses. Could you imagine throwing a horse at me? That would be fun. I'd be bowled over, so to speak. But, as I say, like, Spirit send me the weirdest things sometimes. But, I was heading towards the end of October, but as soon as I saw the horses, and that's Melbourne Cup, because that's coming up the first week of November. So I am going to take it out to the first week of November, that you actually find the right posse, back then, as opposed to your ex's health. Now, I know there's been some hiccups, and probably two greater than the average hiccup. I mean, if I say hiccup, then that's cold and flu type thing and whatnot. But there seems to be a real hurdle in the road. It's not a speed bump. It's actually like a boulder that shouldn't be there, so to speak. So I actually want to say to you that if he hasn't gone through something major of recent, then, in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be something that goes on. I'm not... that psychic attack. I want to talk about psychic attack actually later, because it's really getting me tonight. So whoever's lurking in the background, best of luck in getting me to, stop, because I'm not going to. Anyway, this what I see, like, boulder in the in the road, so to speak. I'm not worried about it, if that makes sense. Like, it's a hurdle, like, it's more than a speed bump. It's a hurdle, but I'm actually not worried about it as such. Like, I think it's an easy fix, but I think when you get told, oh, this is going on, and you need a bit of this, then I kind of go, do you know what? I think in your ex's brain, it's like, not that he makes a mountain out of a molehill, but I think it's more of like, oh my God, I thought this would be a breeze. What the hell's going on? And so I think there's a bit of like insecurity there. A big one. Yes, okay. All right. Some of the ups and downs, I dare say, his own doing. I do apologize for that. But sometimes the word from the horse's mouth, so to speak, runs too freely. And I'm going to come back to that horse thing. It just seems to... Sometimes he doesn't know when to zip it. So he does a lot of this instead of a lot of this, okay? So sometimes he just doesn't know how to zip it. And look, in all honesty, sometimes it's because he does tell the truth, but I don't think he understands the way to deliver the truth, if that makes sense. So... sometimes when you deliver the truth, it comes across really blunt. And when people aren't ready to hear the truth, do they kind of get offended? Do they go, oh my God, like, how can you say that? So, so I think I think others are hearing him that way. But, at the end of the day, as I said, there is that boulder in the middle of the road that needs to be addressed. And if he hasn't gone through it right now, I know you've got written up there, a big one, and has many ups and downs, but I actually think that there's one more coming. However, it's not going to upset the apple cart too much. It's going to be kind of more of a bit of a scare, bit of a fright, bit of a wake-up call, and then things can get addressed, and it'll be perfectly fine, because I don't hear anything bad coming from Spirit. I've got my dad in my ear shaking his head going, do you know what? It's not as big as, some of the words. Because when someone talks to you about anything medical, sometimes they use words that you and I, the average person doesn't understand. It kind of sounds like worse than what it is. So, So I just think it's kind of that. All right, my love. So let me know how all that sits with you. And, we can discuss further down the track if you have, different things that you need to ask. Okay, next is Crystal Wilkins. Crystal Wilkins, if you can send me your question, that would be awesome. So I have Crystal Wilkins, Sanella, Inspired, which I believe is Donna. Rosalind, I see you. I see you fixed that up by the look of things. So yeah. So Crystal Wilkins, you're next. If you can put up your question. Okay. Oh, okay. You're a different. You're a different name on here. Okay. So, look at that. You know, if that's the case, Jean, that's obviously the horses and Melbourne Cup and that I was being shown. But as I said, at the end of the day, I don't feel it's a negative thing. I think it really needs to be done. But I think afterwards, yes, a bit of healing, but, I don't see a drama. I really don't. Okay, Crystal, here you're under a different name. That's cool. I like how you're saying, yep, that's me. So your question was, the question. Did I miss your question? I don't let you scroll up certain things. Oh, Joshua, you're back. You were here last week. How did you go, Joshua, through the week after hearing? Okay. I'd like to know about my daughter, please. Okay, Crystal, I don't know how old your daughter is. Generally, we don't read for anybody that is younger than 18 because that's kind of the rules of the, authenticity and whatnot, integrity. When you have a business under this line, it is alive. It's possibly a little bit different, but I also don't have your daughter's energy either. Well, I'm going to see what Spirit throws at me. Okay, so there's a. Okay, so when Spirit goes like this at me, so I have Spirit over here, I have Spirit here, and I've actually got two behind me. They're all throwing me things at me, but that's okay. I get bombarded for hours. It's all good. But all of them are kind of showing me this. So there's distance between the two. And I don't know whether you've had words that have like created that distance, or distance because she's not living with you and she's too far away to possibly, connect one-on-one like she used to. Because I feel like, when I see this, I feel like there's a lot of great communications there, but I feel that there's something missing. And when I feel it's something missing, it's also like, then I want to say, how is your heart doing? I do see the number 6 around you though. So a 6 is a very, in spiritual language, a 6 is a very calming, a very, like a good number for good things coming up. Okay, responding. Just let me stop here for a sec. Okay. See how I grab my heart before Okay. Obviously, that's where they were showing me the distance. And if it wasn't you and her saying the mixed words that I kind of felt, not necessarily a whole lot of bad blood, but I just felt a little bit lost there for a moment, is the bad words between the other people that have her. Because it's almost like, the love that I felt in my heart is just like, no, like, you get on really well. And there's a connection there. But when I saw this kind of broken thing, I kind of wondered what was going on, because it's just, it's sad. Like, it makes me rather sad. So, I'm obviously getting your energy with all that sadness. However, I do want to say to you that there's something coming up. I have to actually. I'm sorry if this seems too far away, but I'm being shown December, and it's not about Christmas as such. I'm virtually seeing early December. It could possibly be the end of November, but I am drawn to 12. So to me, it's the first week of December, and there's some. I don't know if you've popped in some legal work or someone has said something on your behalf, because things seem to change at the beginning of December, but they change in your favor. So whether your daughter is piped up and said something, whether it all gets too much for her dad, something goes on between now and December, because I feel like you actually get something in writing, and then it's almost like she's on her way. And I feel really comforted with that, because it's I felt very sad for you. But then, I get this lift out of my heart, and it's almost like Spirit is saying, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Things are going to change. And when that change comes and you get something in writing, or you just get a call and the news is different, it's I don't want to be a cliche, but it's almost like that blessing in disguise, where you kind of go, do you know what? I've waited for this for so long. I've wanted this for so long. I've yearned for this. And when you yearn for something, and you can kind of put past, kind of look past the negative and throw that little bit of positivity out there in manifestation or with journaling or whatnot, not necessarily begging the universe to give it back, but putting it out there by going, do you know what? I really miss her. I really miss her. I don't mean to make you cry, but when, Dave Walsh has just jumped in. He often sits near me at some festivals, and he says I'll make everyone cry. But you know what? When spirit comes through with something that is so personal and so just for you, and it has no meaning for me, but I feel it. I feel things in my heart, and spirit like talks to me in my heart. And I actually think that you've got a granddad in the spirit world, because I think it's him that's actually coming through with it. Virtually at one sense, he was kind of giving me the choking feeling. It's like, I want to choke someone. And he's not a violent man, don't get me wrong, but when I heard that, I knew that something was. I knew that spirit was guiding you to a certain way. Yeah. I'm just so stressed, and I've been worried that they are going to take her 6 hours away. No, that's not what the 6 is, love. I know I connected with the 6, but I don't feel that. But I also know, and I just want to go off spirit for a moment. I also know that if by chance, and I don't feel it, so please don't get stressed about this, but by chance that happened, you can put something in writing to have her not go that way. Yeah. But I don't feel it, and I have to kind of get your head out of that particular way, because that's not what I feel. But it's just that you popped in with that, and I was scared that because I said the 6, that you would automatically think of that. Maybe when you go to sleep tonight, you think, oh, maybe she meant that with the number 6, and I actually don't mean that with the number 6. Yeah. I just kind of. I'm drawn to you with my heart. Like I can feel you in my heart. I can feel the stress. I can feel the anguish. I can also see you, and I'm sorry because this is a public forum, but I can also see you at times, the image that I get shown. It's almost like you kneel down at the edge of your bed, and I actually want to take you to the right-hand side of your bed. There's something about kneeling on the floor at the right-hand side at the end of your bed, or sitting on that right-hand side corner of your bed, and it's just tears. It's like you have your hand on your heart, and it's tears, and you're kind of regurgitating stuff over and over. And I have to say to you, please stop saying those negative things. Please, I know it's hard, But please, the more you say that, the more spirit in the universe kind of thinks that you want it. And they kind of go, do you know what? If she wanted that bad, we'll give it to her. So please be careful of your words. Please be very mindful of your words. If you start to hear yourself going, oh my God, she's going to go for good, turn around and say, no, don't be silly. You know, come on, she's not, she's mine. Say, like, turn it around very, very quickly. Because when you leave something like that in your heart and in your mind, you're manifesting it to actually happen. And anyone that's watching tonight, like, the same goes for everyone. When you're feeling rubbish. I mean, I was bulldozed this week, for instance, and I had some shit things go on. But if I focused on that, I'm asking the universe to keep giving it to me, right? And I didn't. I kind of went, you know what? If that person wants to do that or say that or whatever, well, then so be it. Good luck to them. You know, I wish them well. Hence why I'll probably talk about psychic attack a bit later. But that's what happens. And sometimes it's really tough to do that. But I really want you to know that things will change. Things will change. You know, I promise you. And when things get really tough, you know, if they do get really tough for you mentally, please know that the other, because I have a couple of businesses, the other side of me does counseling. So that my other business is called Aspire to Inspire Counseling and Coaching. If you need that, if you need some help in that avenue, please reach out and we can have a session with that, just so I can flip your mindset around to not focusing on what you think may happen or what could happen, because all the what ifs, could ifs, should ifs, or whatever in the world aren't going to happen. But the more you put it out there, the more it can, because you're asking the universe for it. Yeah. So I hope that has given you some help tonight. And please let me know how that reading sits with you. Oh, psychic attacks going on. So who's lurking in the background? There's just, the spirit world is just, you know, when you're psychic, you actually get told these things. Yeah. No problem, Crystal. Seriously, just, yeah, look, Crystal, look, as I said, my heart is with you. And if you need the other, please just either go on to that Facebook page of mine, because I do have a Facebook page called Aspire to Inspire Counseling and Coaching. Go on and inbox me through there, or inbox me even on my Mystique page, whichever's easiest, and just connect with me and we can sort that out, yeah? Oh, yes, they can bugger off. And I think it was Granddad that came through before, because he was, yeah, it's almost like, oh, I'm going to attack you, but, you know, meaning it in jest, but that presence of him being a man's man and stepping up. Do you know what I mean? And God love him. God love him. So thank you for your kind words, and I hope that's helped you. All right. Now, this lady, I said I had a problem reading her name before. Sanella? Sepakovic? Oh my God, I'm so bad with that. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Are we under a different name too? Are you under a different name as well? Oh my God, everyone's under different names. That's okay. That's okay. Let me sort that. Okay. Okay. Oh my God, was it really? Everyone's getting so worried. A couple of people are just asking me if I've got their donations. So let me just inspired, like, that's Donna. So I've got Sanella next, or Haley. I'll do in a minute. Donna, then I have you. Rosalind, then I have you. And someone sent money for Miki Mix. So that person's okay. So I've got a few to do. Okay. All right, Haley. I hate to. I hate offending people. When I saw it, I thought, oh, I have to say this really slowly so I can try and get it right. Okay, can you, Haley? Can you pop your question up for me, please? That would be awesome. Well, look at me. I'll drink out of my own teacups. So it looks like Kim's not here tonight. It looks like Michael Foley's not here. That's okay. They're all busy. I like it when people have busy lives. That's all good. But then again, they may have been. Cherry, yes, I am. The answer to that question is yes, I am. Oh my God. I have to get rid of some of these psychic attacks. Dave Walsh, if you're still here, I may get to you a bit later if you're going to hang around. If that's okay. Okay. Just as something comes over my screen. All right, Haley, here's your question. Sorry, I had to go back and find it. Sorry, lovely. Okay, I'm wondering if you see Esk reconnecting with me again. Ooh, okay. I'm actually going to have a look at something else while I wait for spirit. I shouldn't laugh. Like, I have my own little giggles when I wait for spirit, and then I just draw a couple of cards at the same time. I kind of went, are we going to match? Is the cards going to match what spirits say? And then when I get it, I kind of had a little chuckle. I have to say to you, when I do that, especially when I've done this on Psychic TV actually, and or actually I should say PTV Australia, because that's the original. PTV Australia with the original logo is the original TV show, and which we're back, by the way, we're back. You'll find that on my Facebook page. There was one night that same thing happened where I was waiting for spirit to answer, and I kind of was feeling something myself. And then when I drew a couple of cards and spirit came through at the exact same time, I had a bit of a giggle, and the presenter looked at me, which was Mal. She looked at me and she's kind of like, what's wrong with you? And I said, oh, that's okay. I'm just sitting here pleasuring myself. It came across so wrong, but I tell you what, it was just so funny. And then the phones just went crazy. But that's what it's like, because I have this laugh when all the dots connect and they're all in front of my face and in my ear, and because I can see it all, not that I expect everyone else to see it, but when I see it all, it's just like I have these reactions. So I actually want to say to you, the answer to your question is an absolute yes. And the reason why I say that is because I kept hearing you've been waiting for a while, but also while you've been waiting, which is a shame, actually, by the way, because it's a shame that he's actually waiting that while. But I have to kind of tell you why. And this is going to sound really weird, but guys do this, and I think there's a few guys here that would actually jump in and actually agree with me that, when I say to women that we need healing, guys need healing too. And whether it's something from their past or whether it's something that they're not, coping with at work or whatever the case may be, it, just because they're a man's man or they're a blokey bloke, whatever you want to say, men need to go through some healing processes as well. But I also think too with you that you need some of that as well. And I think while he's been away, like while there's been that lack of connection, I think that you've started to do some healing on yourself, but also too at the same time, unfortunately, I want to say to you that it's not all working because you've gone into this doubt mode. You've gone into like, oh my God, is it me? I'm the common denominator. Like, why aren't I happy? Why isn't this happening to me? Why can't I have this? Why can't I be as happy as anyone else? First thing I want to say is stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Because you don't need to compare yourself to anybody. You are you. And I often say in my hashtags, be you, be beautiful, or be you, be fabulous, because we are all unique in our own ways. And people will either love us for who we are, or they'll actually hate us for who we are. And there's Nothing you can do about that, but there's also no point worrying about it because it doesn't do you any good. And I just feel with you that because there's some doubt that's gone on, that doubt has kind of got you to a sense of like it's an overwhelming, I want to say fear factor. Like not fear as if you're really, worried that something, how some people have a fear of dying. It's not that, but it's a fear factor that you don't think that you're worthy enough for someone to come back to you. And I think that's manifesting. I think that's building within you. And parts of you then go, oh, you start to think, well, it must be me. Well, why me? And then you go through that protocol, and that's just not doing you any good. And if you can come back to just looking after you and healing your way through that and stop saying those sorts of things to yourself, because, should I say just S, or S is on another path where a lot of stuff has to be purged up and out. And once all that's gone, because I think there's also something with him of something in past, something when he was younger, not quite right. And I'm feeling blocked. I'm feeling like I can't talk. And that's because doesn't want to talk or has held something in for a number of years. And when someone's held something in for a number of years, then of course you get this barrier. And then some people don't know how to deal with that barrier. And some people's like personality just changes, and other people go quiet, and then other people walk away. But when they walk away to deal with it. Okay. And that's what I think that is. They probably hasn't explained it to you very well in their parting and just kind of disappearing. Well, I feel like that you feel that you're being ghosted. So then they were actually unable to let you know what was going on with them in their sense, in fear of being judged. And I know you wouldn't have judged the person, but it's in fear of being judged, probably that small ego part that is in fear of being judged and henceforth not being able to express it. But I do feel that once all that purging is done, that healing is done, that I do feel that the real personality comes back. And when the real personality is ready and comes back, there's so much more. There's so much more for you guys to gain together as a couple that it's almost, what do you call it? Like butterflies in the tummy. You come back to all these butterflies in the tummy and everything feels fresh and everything feels new. And you just kind of, what is that other saying? Like you're feeling on top of the world, right? And so from coming from way down here with your feelings to be going, oh, maybe I'm not worthy enough, and maybe, it's my fault and all the rest of it. And then coming back up here and having this wonderful, expressions of love, expressions of fun and laughter. This is where I see that you're headed. And, and why I had the giggle, because I have to now show you, I don't often show the cards, but I had the giggle because I have to show you the two bottom words for those two cards. Okay. When I was hearing from Spirit, that's what I actually heard. and they're the two extra cards that I pulled out. So that's why I had the giggles. I kind of went, oh my God, this is so spot on to what I'm hearing from Spirit. So I hope, Hayley, that all sits well with you, and please let me know how you feel about it. Because I just think it's a wonderful thing. And I know it doesn't feel like that now. And some readings can be tough where I really do feel the pain or the hurt, or, if somebody suffered when they're passed, I get to feel all of that, Okay, you've responded. I have been ghosted. Nothing really happened to him to just disappear. Okay. The ghosting that, I felt that, but how long, I want to say to you that something from younger years, which is what I said when I was connected with Spirit, young has festered, and it doesn't, being ghosted, it's not a very nice feeling, and whatever he's going through doesn't actually justify the ghosting, but there will be an explanation, and it's up to you, because when he does some healing and removes whatever pain he's feeling on something that has nothing to do with you, then it's only then that you two will reconnect, because he's got to clear out what is, I don't really want to swear, but it's like he's got to clear out crap to feel himself again. And that's no reflection on you. It's seriously no reflection on you. It's nothing that you've said. It's nothing that you've done. It's nothing of who you are as a couple. It's more about something has triggered something from his past. It's hurting. He doesn't, a man's man, he doesn't know how to deal with it. So by disappearing, he's actually, his brain, and all the men on here, this is said in general because I've studied the brain. So this is a general comment, not necessarily, I'm not picking on men. It's a general comment after my studies with the brain. Okay, men can only think of one thing at once, and if there's a problem, they can't think of anything else. So a woman can think of 5, 10, 20 things at a time, and then can probably do 5 or 6 things at a time, right? And they feel comfortable with that because their brains work in a different, different wavelength, so to speak. But if a man's going through some dramas, firstly, they don't want to admit it because they think that they're not a man if they actually admit something is wrong. But secondly, if they want to work through it, they actually can't think of anything else. So it's not a deliberate ghosting. I have to say that because that's how it came through from spirit. That's actually not a deliberate ghosting. I know it feels like it, and trust me, I've been ghosted before. I've been ghosted by someone I've known for, over 20 years and 7 months without a word, and it broke my heart. I was angry and whatever, and then I kind of went, you know what? They're off dealing with whatever shit they're dealing with, and if I find out about it at the end of the day, I find out, and if I never find out, well, then so be it, that whatever. But when you take the hurt on yourself and you keep talking negative to yourself, then it's no good for you because then the universe is giving you more negativity. Okay, so I really hope that helps, and I look forward to hearing something better in a couple of months because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen straight away. There is still some time. There is still some time for that to happen. Okay. All right. Donna, Little Miss Inspired Life Events, which I love that company. Cruising, psychic cruises. Should I say psychic cruises? Donna will know what I mean by that. She'll laugh at me. So a few people are kind of jumping in. And I haven't really said hello to many people tonight. I'm so sorry. So anyone I've missed saying hello to, I'm just going to give you all a massive hello because my screen won't let me scroll back up. Okay. Donna, I know you popped in and said something. Where are you? Okay, found you. Do you see any changes coming up regarding moving, relationship, and work? All right, what a mixed bag that is. Okay. I'm actually going to go work first. I seem to be drawn to work first, and I want to say I want to say this in two different ways. I'm being shown like an open book, so I want to actually say two ways of the open book. Yes, you are an open book, although when you first psychic attack, come on, when you first meet people, you're a little bit guarded, but that's because I think in past, a long time past, someone has some people, and I get two, have not been very kind to you and have not been very kind to your services and all sorts of things. And I feel like there's been a bit of a, let me just say the word, rip-off back then. And, so when you meet people, and we're all a little bit like that, but I think that you more than a little bit than others. So first impressions I would normally say are the best, but I think with you they're not. I think the second and third is probably better for you because then you can get a feel to where they're at, and that's only because it's a trigger from past. But I think that being an open book, but also to like having your books open, so I see that two different ways. So I think there's been a bit of a forget COVID, but I think even after all that, I think there's still like been a bit of a slow process with certain things, and I think that's been a question mark in your mind as to well, COVID's finished. Like, why isn't my stuff picking up? But I'm here to say, like, virtually, I actually only see, like, in about 3 or 4 weeks that things start churning, because Spirit is showing me, like, just flicking pages. And to me, that's kind of like you going through a diary, like booking ahead. So, I feel like this all of a sudden, as I said, 3 to 4 weeks, phones are going to be ringing and emails are going to be coming in. It's almost like, wow, where did all this come from? Because normally it would kind of, how do I say it? Normally when businesses start to pick up, normally you kind of get, a few emails here, or a few, a call once a day or twice a day. But I kind of think in this next 3 to 4 week period, I seem to see so much more. Like I kind of see you at a computer, type. And I just think that, I don't like the word explode, but to me, something is going to explode to get it back on track. So whether also too, like, whether you've got another marketing campaign, whether you've got another great idea that you haven't put forward as yet, I also want to be, like, looking down that avenue as well. Yeah. Cruising side has been slow to get back, but it will be booking then next year in the year. Yeah, next month. Okay. I would have thought people would have been already jumping in to book back on cruises, because, they've all been welcome back to our shores. But anyway, if you haven't thought of another hashtag, or not necessarily logo. What is that other word? When you create a logo or a business and it has like a sentence underneath it, like I do want to say hashtag, but hashtag is always social media. But you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like if your business is called something, then there's another kind of spin-off underneath it. I think that you're thinking of it like another line. Well, I say that because it's kind of like the next marketing campaign. It's the next big thing that you want to do, to promote your business. I feel like there's that other wording that comes in on top. Someone just said something. Tagline. Oh, yeah, maybe that's the word. Yeah, maybe that's the word. But yeah, I just think that there's something else coming, and if you haven't been thinking of it, please think of it, because it's almost like it's something else that rolls with it. Cruises roll side to side sometimes, but no. No, maybe I want to come on one of your cruises, Donna. No, I'm kidding. But I just keep seeing there's a business name and there's just something floating underneath it as to lead into something else. So if you've got someone said something else. Yeah, probably a cat. Look, people are saying it, catchphrase, slogan. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's one of those, and I think that I'm going to be Dr. Phil for a minute. It's going to come like a light bulb moment, and I think it's going to come in the middle of the night. So I know you probably do, but have a pen and paper beside your bed, because it's just gonna kind of hit you where you kind of went, oh, why haven't I used that before? And I just think it's just like I'm laughing because I just think it's going to impact you so much. But yeah, I do see that. That's for sure. But all puns put aside, this book that I keep seeing that you're flicking open and all the rest of it, like, I do think that things are really going to pick up. Yeah. So that's the work side of it. I think by Christmas you're virtually going to be run off your feet. Sorry, but yeah, and it's almost like I'm feeling it now. It's like I want to say, why am I worried? Because there's just so much there, right? So, and I'm feeling really comfortable about that. And you might not be, you may not be seeing the dollars right now, and that's probably why you're a little bit worried. But I just see that there's so much coming, and you're going to be run off your feet, which is it's probably a good thing. Relationship wise, like, I think that's how do I say that? A bit flatline. Like, I don't think there's. Excuse me when I say that I don't think there's been a lot of intimacy of late, and I think that you're kind of feeling, why not? Like, why not? What's wrong with me type thing? Like, why aren't why aren't I being, not necessarily the center of attention, but why aren't I, being attracted? Why isn't someone being attracted to me? I think that there's a bit of a block there. A bit of a block. Now, why is there a block? Spirit, I'm coming forward to why there is a block. I just feel there's a block. Has your heart been hurt in the last 6 months? Because it seems like 6 months, the number 6 been floating around a lot tonight, but I think the last 6 months, there's just something gone on with you personal in the last 6 months. But I think, there's kind of like taken, I don't know the wording taking a dive, because I don't see something taking a dive as such, but I see something falling away. Something's missing. Something's missing in the mix, yeah? And when I feel it missing in the mix, I kind of like it's a little bit sad. But then I actually want to say to you, like similar to what I said to a lady earlier on, like when you say things to yourself that aren't real favorable, or they're not in the right tone, or it's a little bit negative, it just it kind of sticks inside you internally, rather than you just, I'm sure you have the ability to just flick those emotions around on their head and go, do you know what? I'm not going to swallow that anymore. I'm not going to be someone's lapdog. I'm going to start putting out exactly what I want, what I want. Okay, what have you said here? Is that the relationship was 12 months ago? Oh, but you're with him for 6. Okay, well, that makes sense. And 6 is a denomination of 12 as well. But, at the end of the day, when you start speaking better about you, and more so probably because you've had question marks on money, I've got to come back to that. But when you start feeling and seriously, like, taking it into your heart and knowing that you're worth so much more. I mean, I always say when we have, people say, oh, I'm such a failure, like my relationship didn't work. You're not a failure. It was a lesson learned. A lesson learned that person wasn't quite right for you. There was something that wasn't, like when you cut yourself and the nerves have to meet back together. The nerves weren't meeting. The chemistry wasn't on par. Did that person not show you how... Sorry, we're going down the sex path, sorry. Did that person not show you and like the intimacy that that you desire, or the intimacy that you would like with somebody? I don't think that person gave you that. I think the chemistry was wrong, But I also feel that you've been a bit down on yourself and questioning yourself after the event and wondering why, there's been no attraction really like since. But as I said, turn some of those words around. I'm pretty sure that you know how to turn that all around. And if you need any help with that, please just shout out. Just shout out, because I'm happy to address that a lot further. And was there something else? Where there was work, relationships, and was there anything else, Donna? Was there something else? The lady on YouTube, I can't see YouTube right at the moment because I don't have that open, but you can type your question here, but you also can see that there's donations of $15 for me to respond, or to answer your question, I should say. So if you wanted to do that, then, you're welcome to. Okay. Donna's jumped in. Yep. And look, I kind of feel for people, that's another side of my business. Like I do sexology and intimacy coaching, go figure. But I do it for many reasons, because that can go from personal one-on-one sessions to relationship coupling, right up to like rape and domestic violence victims. I mean, it's a widespread under that banner. But I feel if you've never experienced intimacy with somebody, you actually have no idea the chemistry, the bond, the sensations. There's so much that goes on with that it makes every time, like, you can have, let's just be weird for a moment. I won't say weird. People can have quickies in life. Yes, it is live. People can have quickies in life, and it really is just a wham bam, thank you, man. And people can make love, so to speak, and it feels really good. But when a couple has intimacy, even that quickie, there is still so much passion, there is still so much connection, there is still so many tingles, there is still so many, goosebumps. It's a whole new world. And if anyone gets to experience what true intimacy is, it's an actual privilege, and you never want to lose that if you've got it, right? And if somebody is not prepared, when you're in a couple situation, and say you've been there for a while or whatnot, and it's all working good, if the two parties are willing to look deeper and to willing to experiment on some certain things that they have to use different sensations in their body to actually feel a different chemistry, then do it, because it is a magical ride, right? So, Donna, I just feel that man didn't offer that, didn't connect in a way. So yeah, wasn't the right person. And moving, look, I can't see the whole time. Spirit has not jumped in with anything with you moving, which is why obviously I lost the wording. I want to ask you what that third thing was, because I couldn't remember it, because Spirit wasn't jumping in. I think that you would like to move. I think that you would like a change of scenery. I think that's kind of been a yearning desire, but I don't think you're ready. I don't actually see that, and I'm looking out to possibly May next year. I really can't see that in the first instance, because I actually don't believe that you are ready. As much as you want to, I don't believe that what you're looking for is actually around, and you're not seeing it, you're not feeling it, and then I think that it's kind of driving you crazy because you're not seeing what you want, if that makes sense. So let me know how all that sits with you, because there was a lot. But yeah, let me know how you feel about all that. Okay, Rosalind, you're next. If you can pop your question up, that would be sensational. You can pop your question up. How's everybody going? How's everybody feeling? How's everyone feeling tonight? Where's everybody, any newbies? Where are you all tuning in from? Perfect, Donna. Perfect. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure reading for you. Because I don't think I actually have ever before. Okay. Rosalind. Where are you? Here you are. When do you see me retiring? Thank you. Okay. Oh, South America. Yay. Look at you lot. South America, UK. I'm a newbie from Kenya. Wow. We're reaching a lot of places tonight, which is absolutely sensational. I said earlier, anyone in London, the UK and everything, worldwide, the last 24 hours, what a magnificent send-off you gave, Her Majesty. Absolutely, amazing. What a powerful woman, what a dedicated woman. And I don't see any of us ever being in a job for 70 years and still loving it. But anyway, well, I can't talk. I mean, I've been psychic since I was 3 and I'm now 60. Well, I'm not doing too bad. But, and I'll probably do that till I die. But, I'm not in the Queen's presence doing everything that she had to do in that amount of years. But anyway. All right, Rosalind, when do you see me retiring? Before I connect with Spirit, I have to say, and I smile, because it's kind of your own decision as such. But I think there's some hurdles in your way that obviously why you're asking the question. But do I think that you're actually ready to retire right now? No, I don't. I think that you still, the word bucket list I think is overused, but I think there's, in a work sense, I think there's some things that, as long as you've been working, I think there's still some things that you actually haven't got to achieve. And I say that with the greatest respect. And they could be, they could be minor things, but I think that, you want to do them before you actually close that door. Okay. I also have to say to you that you're a person that has such a kind and loving heart that if you gave up work tomorrow, for instance, I don't think that you'd cope. And there might be other things that you have on another list that, oh, I want to travel, I want to go do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this on my, on these days off. But I actually don't believe mentally right now that you would be able to cope. I just think there is so much. I still think there's so much more for you to do. And it's not going to take a great deal of, what would I say? There's not going to take a great deal of working out what those things are. It's not going to take a great deal. It's not going to add any pressure to your life, because I think that they're things that you actually want to do with your heart. And I believe that you actually, work closely with communicating with others. And I think that your gentleness and your kindness rubs off on other people at the same time. So I'm not sure what you do with work, but the vision I get shown that is that you are around a few people, and I think that you help these people in life. And I just think that you would. I just think that you would miss everybody if you gave it up. I really don't think that you're ready. I think that there's still so much for you to give. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? Parts of you, might have had a mental image of, oh, if I retire, I can go off and do this, and I can travel, and I can see the world, and the world's back open again, so I can do all that. But I actually don't think that you're ready to give up what you do. Just let me know what you think about that, if you wouldn't mind. Sorry, I get it. I never used to get a dry mouth, but I get a dry mouth a lot when I connect with spirit these days. So, something's spirit is throwing more things at me where they're now making my mouth go dry. Okay. Rosalind, how are you going? How do you feel about that? Do you... are you worried about giving up work? Are you really wanting it? Because I can't see. Spirit hasn't even told me that that you're ready. Spirit hasn't told me that you're ready. Okay, you jumped in. My plan is about 2 years. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Can you answer me then why Spirit keeps showing me this this connection with other people, with what you do? Because I have to be perfectly honest, they're not even telling me that's even going to happen in 2 years' time. I think you've got a bucket of knowledge up here. There's still some things for you to do. There's still some giving. There's still, oh God, I shouldn't say that because everyone gets paid for working, but there's still so much of you that that people want to be a part of. People come to you for certain reasons. People know that up here, you, apart from having a kind heart, you give out so much wisdom. I don't even see it in 2 years. And look, if the world changes in 2 years, and Spirit decide that that you can hang up your boots, but so to speak, and then and go off and do travel and all the rest of it, then so be it. But I actually don't. I have to be honest. I don't see it. I still think there's so much for you to give. I also want to say to you, there's stuff that you do with your hands as well. Spirit of virtually directed me to your right hand. So because that's only one hand, I'm actually going to go on the path. Is there an injury on that right hand? Is there something wrong with a couple of fingers? I don't seem to. I seem to feel that a couple of fingers aren't moving right or something or other. There's something with a right hand, or if it's not yours, it's somebody close with you. Okay. But the right hand seems to be annoying me right now because spirit keep grabbing my my fingers at the end. So I don't know what that is. If it's not your hand, then it's somebody else that's close to you, because that's it's your energy. So yeah, but yeah, it's a hand not functioning It's not that it's deformed or anything. It's not that it's broken or it's, but I don't know whether arthritis is coming into two particular fingers. But definitely on the right side, that's for sure. And that knuckle, what's that? The ring finger. So around about that knuckle, and then just coming up, there seems to. Okay, it's a relative. Okay. Has that person had that looked into? I know X-rays are pretty basic, but have they had that looked into? Because I seem to think that behind, like if down here, behind those two knuckles, I feel there's something a bit different. So as much as I'm trying to go like this, I feel this pulling down here. So I just want to say that I just think that there's something there. So I don't know how much it's been looked into as such, but I just think there's something going on there. So if it has been checked, then great. If you know the answer, that's even better. So if I was to, look at that, I'm as pale as buggery, and I always have this problem that my hands look so big on screen. But anyway, so if I was to look at these, because it seems to be these two fingers in the middle. So if I look at behind the knuckles and leading down here, there seems to be an issue. I don't know if it's a clogged vein as such or whether it's actually arthritis behind those two knuckles. There's something going on there. But yeah, as I said, it's not yours, it's a relative, but please keep an eye on that because I just feel that's going to get a whole lot worse. And I also want to say to you that, apart from you wanting to retire as such, and yes, you said 2 years, I actually feel that virtually in the next 6 months you're going to get a different offer, not with a different company, wherever you are, you're going to get an offer to actually do something else, to work on another project. There's something in the limelight there. Just as I was about to say, like the spirit aren't giving me much else, they came in with something else. And again, I kind of see this folder in an arm or a clipboard or something or other in someone's arm heading towards you, virtually saying, would you like to come on board for this project because you'd be very good at it? So I don't know exactly what that could be, but spirit is showing me that's where you're kind of going from. It's a big decision for you to make because I think it would stretch you out probably another year. So that if that's the case, then that means that your retirement isn't going to be for about 3 years. But I feel that it's something that's really, really important and something that's really up your sleeve that is going to give you a whole lot of insight. It's going to give you a whole lot of satisfaction, I guess is the word I'm trying to look for. But to me, it's a big thing, and it's something that I think that it would be very good to have your name attached to. As I said, Spirit aren't telling me exactly what it is. They're just showing me this gentleman with a clipboard or a folder, something to that degree, coming towards you and virtually saying, we choose you to come on board with this project. Like, will you accept? It is a bit technical. It's a bit intricate, but it's something that is going to broaden your horizon and something that's going to fascinate your mind. So if it were me, I'd be going, fantastic, I'm going to grab it. And if it meant another year, that's another year of great finances, because I actually see if you say yes to that, there's more money in the pocket for you, because, yeah, I see that as a bonus, right? So, yeah. So, Rosalind, let me know how that all sits with you. But, yeah, I think you're in for like a good couple of years. I really do. Okay, Miki Mix. Once a reading's been paid forward for you. Miki Mix, I think that's pronounced right. If you can jump in and let me know your question, that would be awesome. And then after Miki, I have Hamani. And then after Hamani, I have, I'm sorry, a name, it's in Chinese. I don't know who that name is. Oh, Terry T. You've written underneath, Terry T. Rosalind, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Is this the first time you've been on one of my lives, Rosalind? I don't think I've seen your name before. Doesn't matter if you have or you haven't. I used to do every Tuesday and Thursday nights. Then I did every Tuesday night. And then a few months ago, I kind of went, you know what? I just need a bit of a breather from it. Yeah. Okay, so I have I'm waiting for Miki Mix. Oh, okay, I think she's popped in with a question. I'm currently studying at uni, but I'm wondering if I should be following that career path or following a different one, just wanting some guidance. I'm currently studying at uni, but I'm wondering if I should be following that career path. I actually think you've got a couple of big decisions to make. Oh, that sounds awful, doesn't it? Starting a reading off like that way, having a couple of big decisions. The reason why I say that is because I think what you're studying is going to it's going to, like, give you a, how do I say it? It's going to set you on a journey in life that is going to set you up. And I think when you first started, you're more passionate about it than what you are now. However, what I hear in my I've got about 3 spirits in my ear now, probably more, but I'm only kind of allowing 3 to speak at once because that's too many. But what I feel is that if you can, someone just said something else in my ear that was awful, and that was for somebody else, not for you, love. But yeah, that was awful. Anyway, oh, I have to come back to you because I need to kind of push this other spirit away because that's not for you, and it's letting me know something that's not very nice, and I just need to push that away for a second. Sorry. So what I feel with you is that when you first started this uni, like, you're passionate about it, you knew it was the path, but then I think some of the subjects, I think that you're kind of like going, oh, I didn't think this was involved, and I'm not really interested in this, so therefore I'm kind of going to slack off a little bit. And then, of course, when you're slacked off a little bit, then it's hard to catch up. And I think that's kind of got you into a really overwhelming state where you're wondering if you're on the right path or not. I say that you still are. I think you've lost some passion about it, but I think that you are on the right path because, as I said, I think it sets you up for, like, greater good, in your life ahead. Whether you use it or not, I mean, that's totally up to you, because I do see that you are, kind of thinking that there's something out there that you think is a bit better. I actually want to say to you, that's okay to think that. Don't allow it to overwhelm, though, that your studies, because I do believe that what you're studying right now is worthwhile, and it's going to, like, be good to you after you're finished. And if you're still, when you're finished, if you're still wondering about the other, go ahead and do it. But I think that you'll find that the other one suits you better. So I actually feel that you are on the right path, but I think that with some of the words that you're saying to yourself, oh my God, they're shaking me again. Some of the things that you're saying to yourself, and some of your passion, how it's kind of like, sat back a little bit because you're kind of questioning yourself. It's kind of making the course, or the studies, I should say, like, a whole lot harder. And sometimes I think that you don't think that you're smart enough to do it, because there seems to be stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, and that's what I feel there. And by doing stop, start, you start to question yourself and say, well, this is, I thought this would be easier than this, or why am I having trouble with this particular subject? So I think that's the reason why you're stop starting, and why you've probably got the question hanging over your head. But I do believe it's the right thing for you to do. And I do believe that the passion will come into it when you kind of disperse. And I'm kind of going like that because there's quite a few things that you're saying in your head that's making you feel like it's not right for you. And when you disperse and put them to the back and kind of go, do you know what? Let me just do what I'm good at. You actually come back to, again, about being more focused, being more, how do I say it? Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think you've actually lost a bit of focus as well. But when, as I said, when you push all that back and kind of go, do you know what? Get out of my head. I don't need to think like that. You come back to being really, really focused, and you then pick up that passion again. You kind of go, do you know what? This is actually quite good. So I think it's because of the mixed emotions, the overwhelmingness, excuse me, the thing that I thought that you were, or what I heard, that you were a little bit behind in a couple of subjects because they didn't quite make sense. But I think they didn't make sense at the time that you were doubting your own abilities. And when you've doubted your own abilities, that has put doubt across the whole board. And again, I say everything with the greatest respect, and I think everybody that knows me, that has known me for a long time, they actually know that I say everything with respect. I never say anything to hurt or to harm anybody. But when I say that that you slacked off a bit, like, I'm not having a shot at you, I'm just repeating what I hear. And whether that was because you thought a different path was the way to go, then so be it. But center yourself, come back, and maybe over the week, what day we're Tuesday, maybe over the next couple of days or even on the weekend, just even sit with yourself and kind of go, do you know what, why was I passionate in the beginning about doing this? And if you write those answers down and reread them a bit later, you kind of go, that's why I was doing it, because I want to do this, this, and this. And you then come back to being focused to why you wanted to do it in the first place. And you come back to going, no, this is really what I want to do. This is what I had my heart set on. This is where I feel comfortable. And when you have that, focus comes back on here, concentration comes back in here, and then you're able to look at each subject and go, man, I know why I did this, and I know why I am doing it. It's going to suit you better in when you're finished. It's going to set you up, as I said, for quite a good career, and a career that you actually love doing. So I know I've said it a couple of times now, but I really do think that you're on the right path, and I hope that has cleared some of the frustration up, because I know up here there's some, as I said, confusion and some overwhelming. So I hope that's cleared all that up, and let me know what you think about that. Yeah, let me know what you think. Oh, excuse me. Okay, perfect. I really hope it does, because there's just, when we're a bit unbalanced, when we're a bit unfocused, and we're a bit overwhelmed, there are, our thought processes aren't as good as what they should be. And henceforth, when our thought process is not good, we start saying things to ourselves, and they're big what ifs. And then, we can change our own perspective and we don't even realize it. And then we start going down the wrong path. And I just feel that, it was, yeah, I just think that it's yours for the taking at the end of the day, because it will do you well. I mean, but you have to decide that. But what I see is it does you so well, and I just, I hope that does help, and I hope it does sort itself out for you. Okay, so I have next I have Charmaine. Charmaine, if you would like to pop your question up, that would be awesome. I think you come under a business name on my page, don't you? Charmaine, do you come up under a business name on my page? Anyway, if you can pop your question up, that'd be great. Or you think I'm coughing because everyone around Miki has been coughing? No, mine is spirit, love. spirit, and especially some people lurking in the background that are sending bad vibes. It's all good. I'm used to it. But yeah, I just noticed, I shouldn't do that. I just noticed that my skin keeps changing color in the camera, but that's okay. Like, it's weird. This side see? It looks kind of orangey to here and then white. How bizarre. Yes, Terry, I've been doing this since I've been 3, and it's but you know what? It's my world, it's my passion. Yeah. Thank you. It's actually one of my own. It's It's actually one of my own. Now it's got lipstick on it. I can't. But yeah, I'll turn around the back, which I'll hide the lipstick. See, that's the original PTV logo. See, I had these when we were on Channel 7 too. Look at it, it's got lipstick all over it. Sorry. That's the original PTV logo, PTV Australia logo. That's Psychic TV. But yeah, but then I have my own picture on the front. So I drink out of my own cups. But thank you. Thank you for popping that up there, because yeah, that's what I do. I drink out of my own cups. It's actually not a bad picture. See, it's not a bad picture, is it? It's kind of a bit, Maybe I've got the same caftan on. Oh, I don't know. Oh, no, it's a different caftan. I have to work that out. Thank you to Christine for Silk Islands caftans. She's my little caftan queen who makes them. Okay. So, yes, me. I would love to know whatever you think I need first. I was asking about finances, or if you will move, or if we will move close by in this relationship, whatever you think. That's okay. I have to read that again. Sorry. Oh, a few people just disappeared then a few of my viewers just disappeared when I held up that cup. That's very interesting. That's okay. They've probably gone off to watch something with the Queen, maybe. I would love to know whatever you think I need first. I was asking about finances, or if we will move close by. Move close by to what? Okay. Move close by, and this relationship. Okay. I actually feel. I know I'm honest because I'm so authentic, but I seem to say nearly every reading, I say this with honesty, but I do say this with respect. But I feel there's some I feel there's some turmoil in the I'm going to go the relationship first. I feel like there's some turmoil in the relationship, and I think that it's past. I think that there's wow, okay. I think that there's words that have been spoken that one party felt okay to speak them, but I think you have again with respect, I think you have misinterpreted them. And even though the person has apologized, it seems like you're hanging on one or two words. That can be a little bit of a dangerous thing to do. So I have to bring that up because Spirit's brought that up. So if that hasn't happened recently, it's obviously a trigger, and maybe you need to then watch out for that. But I think also too, by hanging on to a couple of words, I think there's some, what I see is and I keep going, there's it's not big, but I feel like there's a little bit of distance between the parties. But again, with respect, I think that you're hanging on to something that really doesn't serve you any purpose. I think that you're okay, you've just jumped in. I am hanging in the past on the okay. I'm going to quickly say, and I say this with respect because I have a tattoo. I don't know whether people can see it. Okay, we're going the wrong way here. It says acknowledge, accept, release with a butterfly. Okay. And that's one of my own here. I mean, there's 3 simple words. You can't quite see it because I've got twisted. I shouldn't do that. I've got a dislocated shoulder, and that was just the wrong thing to do. But anyway, that's okay. That gets looked at again tomorrow, but I just kind of put that in the wrong position. But anyway, those 3 simple words, acknowledge, accept, release, is a healing program I wrote a little while ago, but the 3 words are so meaningful. So because you've said that, it's virtually we can't change the past. So whatever's happened in the past, we actually can't change it, okay? No one can ever change what's happened in the past. However, the accept part is if we played a part in it happening, whatever we're upset about in our past, if we played a part in something that we made happen, then we have to accept responsibility for it. But if we played absolutely no part in whatever it was that happened to us, then we've got to stop carrying around the guilt that's attached to it. And once you do that, you're able to release it in a manner that's safe, a manner that is it will leave you, and the triggers sort of won't be there. Nothing will ever leave your system forever. And if someone told you that it does, they're telling you a fib, because it can't, because things that have happened in the past generally shape us to who we are today. And as I said, we can't change the past. What we can do is that we can adapt our mind and our heart to be able to either move past the pain that it's caused us, or, as I said, accept that we played no part in it. So then we can kind of get rid of the guilt. So when you're hanging into the past and you're hurting, you've got to be able to say to yourself, do you know what? I actually want to feel better about this. And start writing down the things that actually did hurt you, or if someone said something, if someone did something. And then, everyone can do this exercise. And now I'm giving away half my program for free. But anyway, my program is far more in depth than this. This is just a brief rundown. But if you write down whatever someone has said to really upset you, tick you off, I can swear, can't I piss you off, whatever, then write them down. But then have a look back later and go, do you know what? That's really their issue. I didn't make that happen. Or if there's one thing there that you actually did make happen, then you go, oh, wow, I didn't realize I said that, or I didn't realize I did that. Then own it and start putting those, if you have to own any, put them on one side, because that means that you're acknowledging that you're a bit guilty about something. But if you played no part in it, then you've got to acknowledge and accept that you didn't. So get rid of the guilt. If we hang on to the past, it'll hurt you more and more and more. You can't change it. I've got the shittiest past in the world. If I quickly ran that off, like child abuse, child sexual abuse, and father, even though he's one of my spirit guides, God love him, so to speak, but, beat the shit out of me every single day. And then, of course, I got into, domestic violence with my ex-husband, and I was set on fire. I was stabbed. I have many, many broken bones. The list just goes on and on and on. And I could have chosen to sink. I could have chosen to sit in a corner, drink alcohol, gamble away, take drugs, whatever the case may be. But I kind of went, you know what? I didn't make any of that happen. I didn't sit there and put my hand up and ask for any of that to happen. But I can't change that past. But what I can change is how I adapt to it. And I was bullied most of my life for being psychic. But I'm still here at 60 years old, still doing it. Why? Because I know I'm real. I know I'm authentic, and no bastard is going to take that away from me. There'll be people that'll tell you they're better than me. God bless them. Go, and I don't see them winning awards and doing anything else, right? So God love them. People attack me because I'm so real and authentic. But that's me, and I'm not going to change for anybody. And I'm not going to take on, if people don't like me for just even the psychic work I do, I can't control that. But I'm not going to let that crappy past dictate who I am today, because I know I'm better than that. And I know I never asked for that to happen to me. And that's where I want you to be. I really want you to sit there and kind of go, do you know what? It's painful, but when you bring it up in a different manner by saying, well, okay, yes, that happened to me and that hurt. Acknowledge the feelings. Acknowledge those feelings. Because if you're acknowledging the feelings, you're able to release them a bit freer. Yeah? Do you understand what I'm saying with all this? I guess just want to know if this will be happier, or is it mainly me? I'm a cranky person these days. Yes, you're spot on with history. I had a rough road here, sitting on a fence, needing to know if I need to change. And we'd be great. Okay? The first thing I'm going to say in that is you don't need to change, right? As I said earlier, I say in a lot of my posts, be you, be fabulous, because if people don't like you for who you are, kick them out the door, seriously. But what I feel with you is that you're punishing yourself for this past because you're still feeling the hurt. If you go through some of this healing process, and even if you want to have some healing sessions with me or whatever, please book in and have them done, so we can get it over and done with quicker, so you feel rather different. But, allow this to come to the surface and acknowledge the feelings instead of suppressing the feelings. Acknowledge the feelings and just kind of go, do you know what? I'm owning that feeling, but I'm releasing that feeling because I know it no longer serves me, right? And if you can sit there and say, you know, whatever the wording, like if I sort of say, well, okay, yes, I got bashed, or yes, I got stabbed. I didn't ask for that knife to be shoved through my guts, but I didn't do anything to cause it. It was that person's jealousy for no reason. I wasn't even doing anything that I shouldn't have. I was going to work every day, right? But it was almost like, well, if I can't have you, no one's going to have you type attitude. So they're trying to kill me. But I know I didn't do anything to deserve that. And so I release that pain. Yes, I've got scars, but I offer my time, and I go and sit with domestic violence victims, and I let them know that this is not the end of the road. You know, you can change your perception on whatever happened. It's not changing you, it's changing your perception and changing your mindset to know that you're worthy of so much more. And I feel that your relationship will work when you release that guilt, because you've got nothing to be guilty of. I can't stress that enough. You really don't have anything to be guilty of. And when you bring it up and you write it down and you release it, you will feel 1,000 times, 1,000% better than what you do right now. And you will understand the beauty of being able to release that. I hate the word letting go, because I don't believe it's just as simple as letting it go. It's a process, right? And that's why I say allow the emotions to come with it, and release it in a way that you understand it and you know it and you feel better about yourself. And then you come back to being just you, because you are enough and you're worthy enough, and the partnership will work, right? Because you're the one putting up the barrier, thinking that you're the one that's wrong, or you're the one that's doing something wrong. So that barrier, like, it's not your fault, and that's probably why you're cranky, because you don't understand what you're doing. The barrier, because you're feeling so much guilt, that's what's kind of making you a little bit frustrated and whatever. So seriously, once you release all that, you are able then to, the relationship will flourish. It will flourish better than it was before. I can promise you that. Okay. So there's some things to work on. And Spirit is virtually saying, embrace who you are, own who you are, be who you are, and things will just happen, but things will happen for better. Okay. And I feel that so deeply in my heart, that things will just, as I said, it will flourish, and and you'll be happy. You won't be cranky anymore. You'll actually enjoy some pure, real, raw happiness. And I can't wait to hear about that, because I just, you're going to rock it. You're really going to rock it. It's going to be so much fun. Believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. Get rid of all that rubbish. And yeah. Let me know how you think that you'll go with that. Because if I see it and I feel it, it's going to happen. Yeah. So let me know. Okay. Terry T. Terry T. You're next. What does Larry M to say? Come on down. Come on down, Mr. Terry T, or Miss Terry T, whichever. And then after that, I have Amy Cuthbert. Okay. So Terry T, your question, please. Yeah, Guy. I thought you were. No, Amy, you're not too late. It's all good. It's all good. I've just got Terry T first, and then I've got yourself. So Terry, if you want to give me your question, that would be fantastic. If anyone still likes to like and share, Dave, if you're still here, you'll be here for a little bit longer. Terry T. Oh. Does anyone want to take ownership of someone that's recently had a heart attack? I have that person. Oh, man, you don't have to show me so much. Dave, you're still here? Seriously? Dave, you don't normally watch my lives. I'm not having a dig at you, but you don't have to answer this publicly if you don't want to. But can you let me know what you think of it all? Since I have worked with you before, but can you let me know what you think? because I don't think I've ever seen you on my live. And that's all good. Everyone's opinion is okay. As long as it's not a shitty opinion. Because then I'll just delete it. Anyway. So Terry T is typing. That's great. I'm sure that will come through soon. You're enjoying it? Geez, Dave, how much are you enjoying it? Wow, we have a long question from Terry T. Okay, let's have a look at this. Or is there more? Exam session for me. How's energy of my... Sorry, hang on. Exam session for me. How's energy of my board's practical test looking on 1st of October? Any advice? I've also got a demonstration tomorrow at work. Been studying hard, at least I think so. Okay, I'm not quite understanding the first bit. Exam session for me. How's energy of my board's practical test looking? Okay. Okay. I'm going to look at the demonstration part first. And I actually want to say to you, if you... Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat again. If you're... how can I say? I think with you, when you publicly speak, you kind of stop, start, and forget where you are. And sometimes you kind of go off point. And I kind of want to say to you, if you're worried about that for tomorrow, please write some bullet point cards and just bullet points. You don't need the whole sentence of what you're saying. You just need bullet points. And if you say those, if you write those bullet points, that kind of keeps you to a pattern, because I think sometimes the pattern kind of goes way off track, and especially if it's a work thing or if it's a, like a university type thing. I think if you go too far off your track, points will be deducted, even though sometimes I think it's relevant when you go off track. But I think that, for tomorrow, for instance, maybe tonight, spend some time and just do some bullet points and have them on. I think they used to call them years ago, I think they used to call them palm cards, because they were kind of a little bit of cardboard that just sat in your hand, where you could look down and you could read it from your hand, but nobody could see the card type thing. But they could see that that you were looking at something written from your hand. Look at this, lovely Danina tuning in from England. God bless you. You made it to England. That is awesome. Awesome. You made it to England. Well done. Anyway, sorry, Danine just threw me off track then. That's okay. But yeah, it's not necessary that you actually get those palm cards, so to speak, but just even tonight, write a couple of things in bullet point and virtually go over those. Don't get anal about it. Just go over those a couple of times, just so even if you stand up and practice, that you're coming out the right way and everything's kind of in line of what you need to deliver. Because there's no, if you have to deliver, say, on a couple of different things, if it doesn't flow in the way that it's supposed to flow, it's going to sound a bit flippant, yeah? So, you if you bullet pointed 1, but then jump to number 3, for instance, then jump to 5, well, then, of course, you've missed 2 and 4. So if you bullet point it and know how to actually present in line, then it's going to come out so much smoother. It's going to come out so much... how can I say it? To the public, it's going to come out more interesting. It's going to come out that you have more poise about you, and it's going to come out knowing and sounding like that you have so much knowledge about what you're talking about. So, so those sorts of things are really, really important, especially when we've got to stand up and kind of give it in a class thing, or if it's got to be a test of some sort, because, already the nerves will kind of kick in because it is a bit of a test. So, yeah, that's why I kind of say to bullet point. And as for... your board's practical test, that's all good, because you're very good with your hands. So practical to me is and especially when you've got to sometimes put things in writing to explain, a practical version. So again, the nerves will come into play, but you actually know what you're doing. I think you kind of as some things that I sort of say to people, okay, you've answered me, okay. Like, meaning I can be more focused on track. Gotcha. Like, exactly. When you're, when you're talking on a subject, for instance, like if I mean, sometimes I go off track on here in my lives if something triggers me or whatever in someone else's comment, and I stop and say hello to people, whatnot. But when I'm actually teaching or mentoring, I have a plan. So if I bullet point my plan of, like, for instance, subjects I need to go through, I don't then jump from subject to another subject I keep it to plan. And I just think with you that sometimes you get so caught up in the moment, and because you have a lot of knowledge and being caught up in that, in that moment, I think that's when the flow goes, a bit higgledy piggledy, if that makes sense. And I do believe that, even the practical side of the exam, I do believe that that's perfectly fine. Again, I think that you're over analyzing now every single thing that you do. And by over analyzing, now you're coming back to questioning yourself. Yeah. And that's where kind of, I'd like to say that's where you're going wrong, because the minute you start questioning yourself, you're doubting then what you're presenting. You're doubting that you're good enough to step forward and even speak or to present or to do the practicals. Like, you're doubting your own ability to get up and do all this. Tomorrow's going to be, to me, tomorrow seems like it's going to be an easy day, but only if you can bullet point it and understand in your own mind. Like, if you go to bed virtually saying, it's really not that bad. Like, start telling yourself that it's really not that bad, that you know your stuff. Like, again, tell yourself, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I have to say. I know I'm going to be in front of people, and that's okay. Because the people that I'm in front of and the people I need to deliver this to, they actually know what I'm talking about. And by being able to be confident within yourself, again, with those bullet points, it's just going to flow. Like, all I get from spirit is just this open heart, open hands, and flow. Okay. And that is a really nice feeling. I don't feel like, I think tonight that you're a little bit tense. So I want you to kind of, like, talk to yourself in a different manner. So some of those muscles get relaxed. Mainly here, with the tension that we often carry in our shoulders, because I kind of see a bit of this, and I kind of see you sitting there going, oh, I don't know how this is all going to go. When you relax some of that, stand tall, embrace who's in front of you, and just deliver, you'll be fine. You really will be fine. It's hard to change what goes on in here, because our subconscious is really, really powerful. And our subconscious will try and override us every single time when we have that little bit of doubt in ourselves. And I just think with you that with the feelings today, I don't know what happened to, like, today, for you to kind of get caught up in extra nerves and being a little bit scared of certain things. And it was it was just this overwhelming sense of, and I said it earlier today, like tonight with somebody else, with this overwhelming, almost like a fear factor. But when you allow yourself to get into that mode without counteracting it with the right sort of talk, it would mean that you'd be standing there going, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. And I just think, yeah, talk to yourself a little bit differently tonight. Bullet point all these things down and just sort of go, do you know what? I'm okay with this. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm here for, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to blitz it. And even your whole persona, the way you stand, everything about you tomorrow will stand a whole lot better. You'll feel a whole lot better. You won't feel sick in the tummy like you have been, but you'll even pronounce words a little bit better, and the flow of what you'll be doing will be so much better. So I hope that helps you. And please, since it's only tomorrow, please let me know how you go. Like, I know you're on YouTube, but, come onto one of my Facebook pages and yeah, just let me know. Just let me know how you go after the speech has been done. That would be lovely. That would be lovely. All right, Amy, I have you next, I think. Oh, and I've got Karen too. Okay. Amy, if you can pop your question up, that would be awesome. Tanina, I'm going to quickly put yours up there. And you know what I'm going to say? Watch out for foxes. That's me being very cute and very funny. She probably wanted something very serious. Oh, you gave me no choice. I seriously had to say that because I'm in a world of pain with foxes. I seriously am. So you got to watch out for foxes, my love. Okay. I understand. Thanks, spirits. Hopefully, I'll be able to celebrate soon. Absolutely. And you know what? Take out the word hopefully and just say, "Oh, we'll be able to celebrate soon." That's all you need to say. Take out the word hopefully. You don't need that word added into it at all. Okay. Look at all these virtual hugs I'm getting. Awesome. Thank you, Terry, for coming through on YouTube. I appreciate that. Okay. Amy, looking for some guidance. I'm looking to have another baby, but my partner isn't too keen, and I don't know how to convince him. Life is already hectic with kids and work. Do you see this happening for me? Looking to buy a house soon too. Any guidance with that too, please? Amy, you need a whole hour reading with me. There's a lot in that, Amy. All right, the first thing I'm actually going to look at. Man, that's tough. The first thing I'm actually going to look at, I'm actually going to, again, with the greatest respect, I'm not picking on you at all, but I'm actually going to break down how you wrote what you wrote. Because when you say, I'm looking to have another baby, but my partner isn't too keen, and I don't know how to convince him, okay? Then your next wording was, life is already hectic with kids and work. So before I kind of ask Spirit to intervene here, we have to put all this in perspective. If your life is already hectic with work and with children, why are you introducing another when the partner has already passed over their I don't know the word opinion, but they've passed over their thoughts or passed over their feelings, okay? Kathy, I can see you're asking a few questions. There is a thing scrolling on the bottom of my screen. It's a $15 donation into my PayPal account for readings, for guaranteed readings tonight. Bearing in mind, I've already gone just over the 2-hour mark, so I won't be here all night. So if you want that, please, that's Kathy. If you want to do that, please consider that now. Okay, so Amy, I understand where your heart is in wanting another child, because Spirit is sort of saying, the embracing part of showing me that there's another child in your arms, but I'm also mindful of the stress that you're already with, and that so far that your partner isn't on board with it. And I say kind of because I do believe that after a few more conversations, I feel that would be okay. But I think, in all honesty, I think the focus there is on, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, as in saying, it would be nice, but finances are this, and we've only got this left over. So if we have another child, it's going to take up this amount of funds, and then later on this childcare. So I think someone is looking outside the square looking forward to that costings, because I think I won't say he's anal about funds, but you know what I mean? There's a little bit of calculating into cost of everything. And when there's other kiddies already involved, you don't want them missing out. I think there's a few more conversations to be had. And it's not about, in all honesty, it's not about convincing him. Because they're kind of the wrong words that you're using, and I say that with respect. You don't have to convince any, like, especially a practical person. You can't convince a practical person with just because I want. It's more about, let's look at, it's like if you're buying you're buying a home and you've got to look at a home loan. You've got to look at all the nuts and bolts. You've got to kind of go, do you know what, can we afford this? And if there's an interest rate rise, can we afford this? You've got to make sure everything kind of sits inside the square. And I think that he's not opposed to it. I think he's just thinking inside the square on crossing all those I's, dotting all the T's, and working out everything. Because it means then that, if you go on maternity leave, whether you get paid or not, how much time you're away from work, that extra income is, well, I don't know if there is actually is any, but I'm assuming there's a little bit. But then that's kind of then goes by the wayside. So that then gets taken out of the equation that he kind of seems to. Normally it's the women that do all the budgeting, but I think it's your partner that kind of, not necessarily budgeting, but I think that your partner is the one that, goes through all this and writes it all down and kind of goes into panic mode when it's not so much left over. And I think that's where the mind is sitting, rather than, just not wanting a child. I think that there's more to than meets the eye with that. So I think a few more conversations should be had, but please get out of your mind that you have to convince him to have it. Just blanket mind yourself by saying, sort of saying, do you know what? I'm going to go into this conversation open-minded, because you want him to feel comfortable with, what he's got to say, as well as yourself. So that, that way you're taking the pressure off, and you're kind of asking the reasons, not necessarily asking the reasons, but you're kind of finding out then the reasons why he might be saying what he's saying without you being offended. Because, I've said all night long, there's two sides to every story. And if you get his full side, like if he feels comfortable because you're allowing him to feel comfortable, then he's kind of like opening his heart to letting you know exactly how he feels about it. And that's priceless. In these days, people actually being so honest in letting you know, their feelings and all the rest of it, that's really, really important. And sometimes that can hurt, but sometimes we need to hear it so we can either move on with something else, or we can kind of, reground, reset our mind and kind of go, do you know what? Wow, I didn't expect that, that you might need to revisit something. But I feel that, as I said, I feel the conversation is going to be okay if you just take the just take the pressure off a little bit. Yeah. And you asked about buying a house. I actually don't see that. I don't see that this year. And I want to say to you that possibly mid next year, I'm being told that you should start looking about April to possibly have a settlement early June, but not right now. It's not ready right now. And what you're actually looking for, even if it's close to where you are now, what you're looking for is actually not quite what you can get better next year, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think, I'm always guided by certain things with spirit, and I kind of go, do you know what? If I'm getting the head shake that, no way it's going to happen this year, it means that, what you might see this year is going to cost you extra money that you don't need to fork out. So yeah, April to a settlement in May next year. So I hope all that helps you, and please let me know, how you feel about all that. Now, Karen Avonsky, you're up next. Thank you, Bernice. Isn't that lovely? I like it when people pay such wonderful compliments. Thank you. Danina, I want to come back to you for just a second, because I've got paid readings, and I don't even know if you're still here. But I kind of wanted to I know I joked about the foxes, but I actually want to I don't know where you're going to be in 3 weeks' time, because I actually don't have your whole itinerary. But Spirit are directing me to something going on in 3 weeks' time. It's not. I want to say to you that it's nothing major, but I just need to be. I just need you to be a bit wary of where you are in 3 weeks' time on the Tuesday. Okay. Oh, it's Tuesday now, isn't it? But yeah, 3 weeks. So 3 weeks from now, exactly now. So 3 weeks on the Tuesday. I think it's Monday night there with you now, or Monday day, whichever. But Spirit, yeah, definitely 3 weeks. The Tuesday. It's nothing major, but you need to be wary of something because either plans have to be changed or something doesn't go according to plan. But what's ahead of that within the coming days is so much better. So I hope that makes a bit of sense. All right, Karen, if you can throw me your question, that'd be great. And then I need to look at Dave's question after that. So Karen Avonsky, if you can pop your question up, that would be awesome. Oh, okay. You've okay. Sorry, I just need to open that up and have a look then. While my phone's logging in. Okay. First reason that you're not connecting with Dad is you're putting too much pressure on yourself. I know how wonderful it is to connect with Spirit because that it happens with me all the time. But I think that you're actually putting too much pressure on, and God rest his soul and please take everything with the greatest respect. But when you long for it to happen, when you yearn for it to happen and it's not happening, you actually get quite frustrated with yourself. Not that you're blaming Dad for not coming through, but I feel that there's something going on with you where you're questioning your own ability. You're questioning yourself as to why doesn't he want to talk to me? I'm not sensing him. I'm not feeling him. Like why? I have to tell you, remove all of that. You're putting way too much pressure on yourself. And okay, we're going for a walk. Okay, so Dad's taking me for a walk. Just bear with me for a sec. We're going for a little walk. Wow, okay. I think Dad wants to show me something. No, not you. If I walk into your home, so if I'm coming through the front door, if I turn right, I don't know what I've just passed there. It doesn't look like much, but I think I'm heading towards the kitchen by the look of it. So the room or the area behind the kitchen, or from what I can see from where the kitchen is to where I look to, and there seems to be another room. I'm not sure if it's a dining room or the start of a lounge room. If I was to look there and sitting there quite comfortably, what is then also on the left-hand side? So as I said, I come through and I go to the kitchen and I look out from the kitchen, I can see another room. And if I go to that other room on the left-hand side, there's something in there that Dad seems to be directing me to that is something of great significance to either him personally or to you with him, because otherwise he wouldn't have taken me for that walk. And I also think that when you're in the kitchen, there's another noise that you hear in a different room every time you're in a kitchen, and you kind of wonder what that is. And when you kind of tune into it, then you kind of think, oh, it's gone, I don't know who it is. And then it kind of annoys you because you're not connecting to it. Does any of that make sense? Because he's coming through thick and fast with that. And I also have to go towards, wow, what is the orange? Wait, why am I going? Okay, because he's also showing me orange. See, that's where you catch glimmers. But you say that you can't connect with him, okay? But you're seeing him, or as you said, you're seeing glimpses of him. If obviously that room plays a significant part with him when he was alive. Can you actually let me know what that room is? Because from where I was standing in the kitchen and looking out to it, it looked like partial dining room, but I think it was more lounge room to me. But I think there's more significant with him, but also too, if I was in that room and onto the left-hand side of that room, what is there? It's the lounge. Okay. So in the lounge room, if you're sitting in the lounge, please let me know what on that wall on the left-hand side is there, or on the, if there's a what do you call it, like a like a hallway table or something rather. Is there is there a photograph of him? Is there something on there? Is there a photograph of both of you? There's significance in that room. Okay. He really loves that room. I think he had some great times in that room. I really do. The recliner was in the corner. Was that his recliner? There's a picture of him in the hallway. Okay. That almost, I love it when spirit takes me for a walk. It's like, where am I going? And I see all these things and I'm thinking, I don't know where I am. Okay. And then I normally have to work out the significance. And they only, spirit always say things in bits and pieces. They don't say a whole sentence. And that was his recliner. Okay, cool. I just knew that there was something. My heart was sort of like pounding, going, do you know what? He's there quite often, actually. And that picture, because now he's laughing at me. Does that picture tilt? Okay, he's saying right-hand side. Okay, tilting to the right-hand side too often. But also to the right-hand side is also significance with him and his arm. So whether you used to rub his arm, and look, I go to do it seriously. He sat in that recliner. He read books to my kids in that recliner. Yeah, extremely significant. It's a very powerful connection in that room, but also to the right. Because the right hand side of his arm, which he's taking me to. I don't know when he got ill and he was passing, whether you sat on his right hand side and rubbed his arm as such, or while he was in that chair, something to that right hand arm, because that seems to play a significance, that right hand side. He's a bit of a comedian when he wants to be, because even when he wants me to say something serious, he's got like a chuckle about him. And if I was to say to you that, I don't want to be cliche and say he was the life of the party, but when he was, even when he was a little bit uncomfortable in people's surroundings, he used to have this particular laugh, but he made jokes. Like he made jokes to counteract the stress, if that makes sense. Okay. His arm used to get the tingles. Okay. So that's obviously a blood flow issue there. But yeah, it was just coming all the way down my arm, and because I was mimicking spirit, and it was another arm on top rubbing. I wondered if it was your arm, but that possibly could have been his arm if it was a circulation issue. Yeah. But yeah, I like his humor. Like even when, as I said, even when he's a little bit shy, and if he's in a room full of people, he's a bit shy, he has this laugh about him that kind of, it's not a ho ho ho, laugh, but it's a laugh to counteract the stress. So he's the one that had the heart attack. See, I was feeling heart attack before, and I'm thinking, who's here that I need to talk to about a heart attack? Okay. Because I was feeling it, and I thought, oh, Spirit, please don't give it to me. Please don't give it to me. Because when I feel things like that, I don't get worried, because I know it won't hurt me, but it was almost like, it kind of annoys you when they can talk to me. They don't have to kind of show me that pain. But yeah, okay. God, he's a funny bugger, Oh, but to me, he's a man that had knowledge that if he was in even if he was in a crowded room, to me, I don't feel that he had anything to be, feeling stressed over. But to him, he was kind of like, if he wasn't 100% sure of his audience, so to speak, if he wasn't even feeling 100% himself, he used to get away with that. It's almost like an anxiety reaction by having a bit of a laugh at the same time to kind of counteract those fears or the anxiety. But the laugh is what drew everybody in, and when he draws people in, and then he has like a different audience. It's almost like he comes to life, right? And some of us, when we have an audience, we do come to life, and other people like, shy away even more when they have an audience. But to me, he was a good presenter, and he was a good storyteller. He never stumbled as such, because and I say this with respect. He's not a man that made up stories as such, but if he couldn't remember something, he would add something to it that wasn't quite right, so the story would flow. Does that make sense? It was just it was just his way about it. It was never a deliberate lie. It was sometimes he would forget certain things, and just so he didn't cut it off to make himself look a bit silly, or a little bit, I forgot, he would rattle off something else that made it sound like it was all connected. So, it's that kind of, personality that is just beautiful. Like, it really is beautiful. And I just, I just... Oh, like he's a man after my own heart. Like, he really is a beautiful soul. And it's always, I mean, I say this quite often, it's always such a pleasure to connect with spirit. But when they just come through with things that don't mean anything to me, but they mean the world to you, it just, it reiterates what I said in the beginning of this live, that I connect so deeply with spirit, and I'm so respectful of spirit, and I'm so grateful that I actually have that gift to, no cards, just hearing what I hear to bring through to you guys, because it is such a heartfelt passion of mine. And he has this gentle soul that he tells me about a year before he passed, he had to move out a belt notch on a buckle or something, but then when he got a bit ill, he had to bring it, he could tighten the belt a bit tighter. So obviously, I don't know why he said that, but apparently there's a joke as such behind that So about a year before he passed, he had to put put another hole in the belt, and then but then he could pull the belt back in, about 6 months later. So that's pretty specific in what he used to do. But like Karen, with all due respects, he's such a gorgeous soul. And I do know that a project that you're working on, something that you're actually doing, I don't think it's work related. I think it's personal, because he's kind of standing over me saying, make sure you congratulate her, make sure she knows that I'm happy with what she's doing. So something that you've done, or something you're in the process of doing, he's aware of that. And if you can actually, those glimpses that you see, when you see a glimpse and you feel, go and have a cup of tea with him. So sit down in that lounge and have a cup of tea. Like, say the words that you want to say. He hears everything that you say. I think, I mean, he knows that you can sense him, but I think you are doubting what you're actually seeing. I think because you see those glimpses, you think he kind of is there and he's gone. He's not. He's there all the time. And that is his favorite room, and you will connect with him in there. Be confident with your connection, because he will he will, you will hear him. And maybe it won't be the next few times, maybe it won't be the next half a dozen times, but you will feel him before you hear him. Okay. Such a beautiful soul. And that laugh just gets me every single time. It's just extraordinary. Because, I mean, sometimes I can be in agony and pain and I'll actually laugh, I mean, a doctor will say to me, are you really in pain because you're telling me about something and you're laughing? And I go, well, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. But he's kind of got, so I mask pain with a laugh, but it's like he marks stress or a little bit of embarrassment type thing, or whatever, with a laugh. So I understand. I certainly understand. That chuckle, because that got him out of a lot of tight situations, so to speak. Nothing horrible. Like, he didn't have to. I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but like I said before, if he forgot what he was saying, or forgot part of a presentation or something or other, he would just make the rest of it up so it sounded well, and he'd get away with it because he wasn't, it wasn't a deliberate lie to deceive anybody, but it was just something that he did to get away, to get out of it. So please, Karen, let me know how you feel about all that, because that was quite beautiful. Like, I really I really loved enjoying, like, so much enjoying with his spirit, because he's just so he was quiet, but if he had the opportunity to talk, he would joke. Yeah, look, I love that in spirit world. I love that, because it just, when they come through, which most of them do, like, most spirits will come through with their personalities, or things that they said, or things that they're wearing, or things that they've given, or something that was said at their funeral, or whatever the case may be. They will always come through with something that is only significant to yourself, and it's certainly not significant to me. But it's just, when I connect with really jovial souls, so to speak, it's just it's just so enriching. And in doing that, he's throwing things at me now. He just sent my phone for a 6. Thanks. Don't do that again. You could break it. Did he not like phones? Not that my phone rang or anything, but does he not like phones? I don't know. That was just weird. I mean, I know he didn't deliberately want to break it, but wow, yes, I know you were here. But wow, did you have to throw my phone on the floor like that? And my phone, seriously, is in a position that it cannot fall. He wasn't used to them. Well, he doesn't have to try and break mine. That's all right. Spirit sometimes does things that don't make sense, and they don't do, as I said, he didn't do it to try and break it on me. It was just, I was saying that, that you will feel Dad, you'll be able to talk to him, whatever. So I think that was just, I put those things down to, a sign reiterating to me that, you definitely will connect with him, and he knows that, and he's wanting that. But as I said, if you don't hear his voice straight away, don't ever stress about it, because you'll always feel his presence. And when you sit in there and have that cup of tea, when you see that glimpse, like, the world will be your oyster. You can tell him anything. And he's a dad that you can tell anything to, yeah? Don't be sorry, Karen. He didn't break my phone. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, it was just pretty funny. All right, I've been going to nearly 2.5 hours, and I need to kind of stop. But I need Dave. Dave, you have been an absolute champion in waiting around. That's for sure. I'm getting better with it all. I'm noticing more, and you will, because you're tuning into your own intuition. Trust it. I've said this loud and proud on TV for many years. Your intuition is 99.9% correct every single time, not once or twice. 99.9% correct every time you feel something with your intuition. Always right. It's when we go against our intuition and we do or we say something that is different to what we're feeling, it normally stuffs up. And then we kind of sit there and go, wow, I just wish I had listened to myself. And then we get the shits with ourselves, and then we dump on ourselves, and then we, no, just when that happens, just say, do you know what? Next time, definitely listen to my intuition, because your intuition is always right. Okay. Dave, have you gone to sleep on me? Or are you still here? Oh, okay. This idiot. Block that straight away. That person's blocked. I have no idea what that is, but bear with me. I've just blocked that person. If anyone gets a message from any strange people tonight, please delete it. I'm just about to wrap up. Karen, you're very, very welcome. It was beautiful to connect. I've had a lot of fabulous connections tonight. So everybody who's now kind of jumping on now and asking for readings, I have been going 2.5 hours. I'm here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. I don't know what that is around the world, but Sydney, Australia time every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. And for a guaranteed reading, then, donate $15 into my PayPal account, which is always running across the bottom of the screen. But, as I said, I'm just on 2.5 hours now, which I will be getting off very soon. But, yeah. Dave Walsh, if you're still here, can you please jump back in? I just need to do Dave before I go. What I was saying earlier about psychic attack, it's a weird word, but people who work in the industry, sorry, I need to just have a look at this. Can I share, Jenny? Can I share that? Jenny, I read for Jenny. Dave, I'm going to do. Dave, can you pop your question back up, please? Because you're going to be my last. I did a reading for Jean earlier tonight, and I was talking. She asked about Nanny, and I was talking. Jean, can I share? Jean just sent me a private message. Can I share this, Jean? If you're still online, can you let me know if I can share this? That's so good. I'll wait till Jean gives me permission. Because I don't want to upset her by saying something that she didn't want public since she's written it privately to me. Jean, if you're still here, because I know you're still awake since you just messaged me, can you just let me know if I can share that with the public? That would be awesome. Dave, I'm going to look at you, but didn't you, I know you're asking for guidance, but did you ask a particular question earlier that I missed or misread or something? And Jean, if you're still here, can I share your validation? It's funny, but it's great. It's great. Dave, I'm going to be brutally honest, as I always am, but I think when you asked before, you asked about something in particular, because I think there's something in your mind that you actually need pure clarification on. And I'm not sure now why you're not asking that question. So if you can actually do that, that would be, if you can pop that question up, that'll be awesome. And Jean, my love, if you are still here, can I please share that? I'll just wait for Dave for a sec. Unless you don't want to, unless you wrote something that you didn't actually want, I'm not sure. It was 2.5 hours ago. No, I don't think it's. I think you're beating around the bush now. I don't think it was work earlier on. I think it was something else. But anyway, I'm going to go with what I was already feeling and what I was already hearing with you, Dave. And look, for people, because people have heard me say through the night that I have, worked beside you, I literally don't really know Dave. Dave is, as I said, is someone that I've done a couple of festivals with. Just in case people think that I know how to read you as such, Dave, I just wanted to clarify that. I don't really know him a great deal, but we will probably be, do some a lot more like functions and stuff at a later point. But Dave, what I want to talk to you about is that your at times your confidence beams, where it kind of like, is like that, how do I say it, like, like the, what do you call it, like the lighthouse on a cliff. Your confidence beams, and other times it crashes to a level which really worries me. And that up and down, up and down, up and down is not a very good path to actually be on. I actually want you to know and start saying to yourself, like, night after night. And look, I think you already do some of this, but, I want you to actually start saying that, that you are good enough and that you are good at what you do. You have to stop listening to outside voices, because outside voices are giving you wrong information. I mean, I know I'm now an outside voice, saying it, but you know what I mean? There's some people that are around you that can appreciate what you do, but they don't like what you do, if that makes sense. And when you have that conflict with people, of course, then you get, how do I say it? Then you get people that say the wrong things or say something that's a little bit hurtful, and then you hear it second, third, 10th, down the line, and that's already twisted, because Chinese whispers are always twisted, right? But when you focus just on you and you focus on what you do, and also too that your learning capabilities, then it's that's when you shine. Karen says, good night. I just realized I haven't washed school uniforms. Catch you again soon. No problem, Karen. Thank you for choosing me to read and to bring through Dad. That was amazing. And as I said, I'm here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock anyway. So go and wash those uniforms and I'll see you soon. But yeah, Dave, that when you are anywhere, whether you're at home, whether you're in a private session, whether you're in a bulk arena as such, if you just wholly focus on what you do and what you bring to the table, forget the outside voices, because the outside voices are feeding you something that will hurt your heart. It's fueling you to think lesser of yourself than sometimes even what you do, if that makes sense. And sometimes I feel that you go down a path that's not very pleasant. And you kind of restore your faith in humanity, but you walk down a path that you question a few things, but then you start questioning yourself. And when you question yourself, it's just like, oh, I'm not good enough, and maybe I've chosen the wrong path. Maybe I need to pull back. Maybe I can't do this, but you absolutely can. And you have certain gifts that other people don't. And when you can show those gifts, and you don't, how can I say, you don't deliberately do things to show up another person as such, but some people take it that way, and that's when that's when they're intimidated, or they get a bit on their hierarchy. But I never want you to give up. And I say this with respect when I say there's actually so much more for you to learn. There's also there's so much more even up here, that sometimes your head feels like it's going to explode, because you get things differently to others, if that makes sense. And when you get things differently, then another person will they don't understand it, and then you sometimes have trouble elaborating what you're trying to give out. And yeah, I just feel then that you kind of hit a bit of a spiral every so often, and that's a bit painful for me to feel, because I just feel then that every time you spiral, that a little extra slice is then cut off your heart, and it takes you a long time to get that little slice to grow back again, if you know what I mean. Can you let me know how you're feeling with some of this, because it's a little bit tough, because I don't, I'm certainly not saying anything to be disrespectful. I'm not saying anything to to hurt your feelings as such, but I just feel that probably the last 12 months, or probably even a bit more, you've probably gone on a pretty good ride. But from what I hear, in the next 2 months, you're actually going to have more choices to choose from, more choices of, what you want to do. and actually who you want to do that with. So, and I think that there's some people around you that don't take you seriously enough, and I think that you might need to spread your wings a little bit further, if that makes sense. So can you let me know how you're feeling with that? Oh, did you just say something? That's on point. And I've got people that give me mixed messages. Look, yeah, you do, and it's hard because it oh, okay. I've just got two spirits that just walked past. Great. It's hard because it keeps you on a roller coaster, and that's not fair. Like nobody should. Nobody should if someone disrespects you, then just get it over and done with, and just walk away. Just go and lead your own lives as such. But to kind of have this roller coaster of good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, like it doesn't do you any good, and it will affect you more so in the long run than what it actually does now. But at the end of the day, as I said, when you know that you're right with what you're doing, you don't need to listen to these other people that maybe tell you to do things a little bit of a different way, that maybe kind of say, oh, that's not the right arena for this sort of thing to take place. Any arena is a good place to do it, because the more you have an arena, the more that people get to know you, the more that people get to be drawn to you. It gives you more experience, it gives you more exposure, but it gives you more confidence. And I think that some people that you associate with deflate. I want to use that word, deflate your confidence, and that's not fair. That's not fair. And I want you to, seriously, probably in the next month or so, seriously look at your surroundings and some of your associations and work out where you're best suited to do your stuff. Because sometimes when you think something is right, it's actually not right until you actually analyze it a little bit. Not. I don't want you to be anal about things, but I just want you to analyze the energy that sometimes you're associated with, and put all that into perspective. Because in about 2 months' time, I actually see that you're going to get other things come to you where you get different offers to go to different places, and that's why I want you to look at that. That's why I want you to explore something a little bit different. No, it's very true. I've been learning to deal with it. It's taken a long time to get where I'm at, and I've been protecting myself. Good. You would know, about psychic attacks too, and I have a few people that are doing that to me and have done over the last week or so, and it's not very pleasant, but, hurrah to them. Good luck to them, because they're certainly not in my league, and, I've always said to anybody, whether it's personal, whether it's work, whether it's any type of association, if somebody doesn't like you for who you are, that's too bad. My next favorite saying is that there's two sides to every story. Another favorite saying is that, if you have evidence around a decision or evidence around information or whatever, use common sense and use that wisely. And if people aren't offering you that, well, then they don't know what they're doing. Now I'm just rattling. I will say that, if anyone goes on my pages and sees, Psychic TV, please make sure it's the right logo, because there are two different logos going out there. So make sure it's the right logo. And I have it on my carp. We're not on 7.2 anymore, but I have it on my carp. This is the logo. This is what you need to look for. Like and follow that page. We virtually had to start that again due to some hacking and so forth, and that's okay. The social media is what it is. So make sure you're liking and sharing the right page and coming onto that, and I'll be able to disclose some more exciting news about that very soon. We've got some very high quality people coming in on that, and it's going to be a little bit different, but the good old days are going to be there with a lot of people, and it's going to be very, 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 very fruitful for a lot of people. Dave, you're very welcome. Please know at any time you can always ask me things, because I'm pretty honest, and I'm pretty straightforward with everything that I get from spirit. And guys, I am going to sign off. It's like 2 3/4 hours. It's a long time to be exchanging energy with spirit. As much as I love what I'm doing, it does start to attack my voice, and then things just go downhill from that point forward. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to thank everybody that has left validations. If you've had a reading tonight and you're still here and it was on point and it was resonating, please go onto my Facebook page and write me a review. That would be awesome. Word of mouth is, always is great for business. As I said, it is an energy exchange, which is always, wonderful. I have full respect for spirit, so thank you, spirit, for coming in tonight. There was many spirits around tonight, which was awesome. Great respect for spirit, great respect for using me as the channeler to bring it through. And so for all you guys, I'm here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. I thank everybody from tuning in from overseas. We had the UK, we had Canada, we had now I forget. I'll have to scroll up and think. But we had Ireland, so we had a few people from a lot of different countries tonight, which was absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate those people for tuning in. For my regulars, I thank you for liking and following me and sticking by me, as well as my favorite hashtags: real, raw, and authentic. It's always going to be that way. What you see is what you get, and if you don't like what you see, then it's a bit of tough luck then, isn't it? But yeah. Okay, so everybody have it. It's now, what is it, Sydney time? It's now 11:15. Almost 3 hours. Have a great rest of the week. If anyone is doing anything special on Thursday in Sydney or Australia, actually, which is the government has made a national mourning day for the Queen. If anybody is going to any ceremonies on Thursday, do so respectfully. Everybody has their own way of respecting, but 70 years is a long time to reign, let alone be in any type of job. God love her. If you're watching any of the funeral and you're feeling a bit sad, as I said, allow those emotions to come up. Don't bottle them up. It's okay to be sad. She has been around a very long time. A lot of people feel like they know her when they don't, but I have the utmost respect. I've never met her. Would I love to connect with her with spirit? Absolutely. I thought I heard something last night, but I'll wait, because I'm not sure on it, and I'll wait to see if I hear it again. And of course, if I hear it again, I'll definitely know it was her. But yeah, it was a pretty emotional moment where I just kind of went, oh my God, really? And I thought myself, I might hear it again straight away, and I didn't. And I thought, what, if I hear it again, I will absolutely know it's her. And that was just amazing. And I was very, very grateful. So thank you so much, everybody, for, as I said, for joining me tonight, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. And I will, I forgot what I was going to say, but enjoy the rest of tonight and the rest of the week. And I will see you again next week. All righty. Have fun, everybody. Good night. Thank you.